What
Okay.
year were you born?
What year? It's 1980.
Okay. And were you born in Taiwan?
Yes, I was born in Taiwan.
Okay.
So do you need to know which city?
Uh, you could say that if you like, but
Oh, it's Taoyuan. Yeah.
okay. And is that, I don't know much about the geography there. Is that like
Yeah.
a big city or kind of a more rural area?
It's a city, but actually I don't know that much about Taoyuan because my family moved to Taipei when I was like 3 years old. So I don't remember that much about Taoyuan, but it's like the area. It's next to Taipei, the biggest city in Taiwan. So
Okay.
it's more like an urban area. Yeah.
Okay. And was Taipei still a big city when you were a child?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a really big city. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
hmm
Um, so what was your earliest memory that you have of childhood?
Oh, wow. Let
Yeah,
me think about it.
no
The
worries.
earliest, yeah, I think I still remember something when I was in Taoyuan, and I remember like, oh wow, what's the earliest one? I don't even know which one is the earliest one.
You can
But
take a shot in the dark. It's okay.
yeah, like my mom took me to like a little temple, and we went there all the time, and just not really going there for anything. You just walk around, and I remember a monkey there. Like, I think that's almost like the earliest memory I have.
Okay. And was
Yeah.
that like a religious temple?
Yeah, it's like a Taoism temple, and it's like
Okay.
really tiny one. I don't know if you know something like oh, you probably don't know it, but it's like a really popular god. Like it's called like 土地公. It's like for like almost like every village or every place you can see everywhere, like a really small, really tiny temple everywhere, like
Okay.
smaller than a room. Yeah,
Interesting. So
yeah.
was religion a big part of your childhood?
Oh, it's not that big in my childhood.
Okay.
My family is not very religious, but of course, like we would go to temple. It's more um, like a visiting, like visiting with the families. Like my grandma, she would say, "Oh, let's go to that temple," and we just like the whole family was just go there, and just like a day trip or something. Yeah.
Okay. It's cool.
hmm hmm
So you said you moved to Taipei, which was
hmm
obviously a bigger city.
hmm
Um, what would you say your neighborhood was like if you had to describe it?
oh wow. It's actually like in Taipei, it's a big city, and actually my dad is from Taipei,
Okay.
and so we actually have a lot of relatives there. But the place I live, we don't live with my dad's family together, so the neighbors, I rarely know them a lot.
Okay.
Um, I have some classmates live in the same community. I know them and we play together, but other than that, I don't know much about other people in the neighbor.
Okay. Um, so you talked a little bit about classmates. What is the
Mhm.
education like? Like,
Oh, which part do you want to know? There's so much to say. On the
tell me.
education there, basically, mhm. Yeah, it's the same, just like 6 year in the elementary school and 3 year in junior high and senior high 3 years. And colleges, basically, it's just like here.
Okay. And
Yeah.
uh, I know I've heard a little bit about education systems abroad, and
hmm
some of them are more like career driven than
Uh-huh.
like the education systems in the United States. Was
hmm
that the case in Taiwan, or was it you got a very diverse education
Oh,
as far as fields?
I don't think the atmosphere is kind of different. Like if you try to be competitive, you have to work really hard because when I was there, I think the system kind of changed after I moved down here to the United States. But when I was there, like every student, if you want to get into a good high school, you have to take like the exam. I don't know how to call it in English, but it's like the whole city, the students of whole city have to take the same exam and like see how what's the grade you get, and depends on that you go into a better school or the worst school. So it's important to your career life. And then after that, if you want to get into a college, you have to take another exam, and like it totally depends on your grade. So it's like really, yeah, like you have to work really hard for your grades, but like your extra curriculum, extra like I mean like extra like activities, like anything is not important. The
Okay.
only thing important is your math, history, the main subjects. So yeah, you have to work really hard on that. So I know some schools, they just like really don't care about music or PE classes. They just take all those hours for like the main subjects,
Okay.
which is not the case in my school, but
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
a lot of schools do that. Yeah.
So did you feel stressed growing up about school and kind of preparing for the tests?
Oh wow, I was super stressed out.
Yeah.
I think I think every student was stressed out because like um when I was young, when I was a kid, I think it's much better now, but when I was a kid, it's almost like if you don't get into a good college, then you don't have a career or you don't have a life.
Mhm.
Yeah, the atmosphere, like of course it's not true, but like adults will give you that concept. If you don't get into a good college, then you are nothing. You feel that way. So
Yeah.
you have to work really hard for that. Yeah, but of
Yeah.
course it's not true. Yeah.
Uh-huh. I've definitely had those feelings at points in time.
Yeah. Oh, I think if you are in UCSB, I think you are a good student. But yeah, I think it's yeah. So I think you will work hard. But yeah, I think that's the education. I would say when I was a kid, the education in Taiwan was not very balanced. I think
Mhm.
in the United States, you have a lot more balanced subject. Although I know it's still competitive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true though. Especially, I think there's a lot of encouragement to go to kind of expand the fields that you're
Mm-hmm.
interested in and like try a little bit of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's more like that. Yeah, because in Taiwan, like if you have any special talent, that's almost like doesn't count when
Mm.
you are taking the college exam. Yeah.
So what did you see yourself doing when you were a child?
Oh, actually, I did pretty good, like academically. I was a good student.
Okay,
I worked hard.
good for
Yeah,
you.
yeah. And I was lucky, like, they don't have to test my PE because I was not very physical. Yeah, so uh yeah, I
No
was doing
shame.
pretty good academically, but I don't really like to go to school because um actually my mom is a teacher, but
Oh,
but I
interesting.
don't really like the school because um like uh how to say that? I forget, like because when I was a kid, teachers in Taiwan, they can still like punish you like physically.
Hmm.
They can beat you, do
Oh,
whatever they want.
wow. Did
Yeah.
that ever happen to
And
you?
yes, everybody, I think.
Oh
And
no.
I think I was a better case because I was a good student, so they
Okay.
would not punish me that much. But I saw that every day, like with my classmates. There are always some kids that are more outgoing and they could not steal down.
Yeah.
So yeah, and that's scary to me.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I don't like to go to school. And every day I finish my school, I just feel like, oh, thanks God I survived.
Good.
Yeah. So
So
even though I did pretty good, so it's still like that.
yeah, so what um job did you end up going into? I know we talked about you working at Tag Seattle, but like what is your actual role there?
Oh, I didn't work in, you said Tech Seattle. I think
Hmm.
you got, no, no, no. I just live in the Seattle area. I'm not
Oh,
like having any official job. Like, oh, you mean tech? Okay, I was thinking about, okay, I work, it's not really like official work. It's like a volunteer job. And I was a president of TAG. It's like a Taiwanese association. So basically we just it's like a I don't wait it's hard to explain it. Like, do you know any like the international situation of Taiwan? It's so hard to explain it.
I don't know
Yeah,
much.
anyway, basically we just serve the Taiwanese community, and like like once in a while we have some activities that's for all the Taiwanese over here in this area. But I was talk about like there are two different voices in Taiwan. One is more like pro-China, and the
Okay.
other one is for like independence of Taiwan.
Mm.
So we are more to the independent side. So yeah, so we are also trying to keep that position here.
Okay. Was that
Yeah.
a profession that you would have seen yourself going into when you were younger, or did you have a dream job when you were a kid?
Uh, I have never thought I would do this when I was a kid.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I could not. It's not totally like that because I didn't know there's a position like this when I was a child. But I have always loved to serve this community um, because of my parents, their political stand, and I also believe in that. Like we should not be a part of China.
Okay.
So yeah, I would love to serve that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to keep it because in the past it's like the older generation, they are doing they did a lot for this, and I think it's time for my generation to take it. So yeah, that's why I take it.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
So you
hmm
talked about your parents' like political views a little bit.
hmm
What kind of values did your parents instill in you as a child?
Because wow, it's so hard. It's like the history of Taiwan. I don't know how much you understand it, but like it's KMT. They came from China and they ruled Taiwan, and a lot of when they came here, actually lots of Taiwanese got killed actually. So and we are like tortured for years and years, but we cannot say anything. And actually, a lot of Taiwanese don't know this history, but I knew it because my parents told me that. But most of Taiwanese in my parents' generation, they were too scared to say it because if they say it, they'll get into the prison. That's why they didn't say it. So it becomes like not many people know about it. So yeah, that's it. So I would like to I think that's my responsibility. If I know the truth, then I should just do things I should do.
Okay. Is that kind of a moral that you think came from your parents at all? Like
Yeah,
the
I think they give
belief to
me like,
pursue what's right and fight for what's right?
yeah, I think so because I think it's a big influence because we don't learn that in school actually. So I think that's my parents' influence.
Okay. And what did your parents do for a living?
Oh, my dad just do a business. Actually, I don't really know what he was doing. I mean, he do all kinds of business. Just sell anything that could make money.
Okay.
And my mom was a teacher, a school teacher.
Hmm. That's right.
hmm
And did you have any siblings growing up?
I have an older sister.
Okay. Just one?
Yeah, just one. Yeah.
What was it like growing up with an older sister?
Um, actually, well, should I say it? Like, uh, I think I'll skip this part
Yeah. Okay.
in
That's
case
fine.
anybody heard of it.
No,
I'm
that's okay.
sorry.
No, don't
Yeah.
apologize. It's fine.
Uh-huh.
Um, so we'll pivot a little bit. Um,
Mm-hmm.
what was a normal day like for you when you were around 10 to 15?
10 to 15, a normal day. So every morning I wake up like 6:30 and I had my breakfast and I get ready and I just walk to my school. Usually we have to get there really early, like 7 or 7:30.
Mm,
It was so early.
that's
Like I
rough.
never woke up that early after I left school. So um yeah, and I went there and they always have something for us in the early morning. It's like 7 o'clock and they will ask us to clean the classroom.
Hmm.
And if it's in high school, they'll give us a test or ask us to sit there to study. And at 8 o'clock, I think we start to have class, and then it's really intense. And then we have lunch, and then we have class in the afternoon. And I found, like, it's Taiwanese are probably those people in the world like stay in the school longest. Like we stay there until like 4 o'clock.
4 p.m.
Yeah,
Oh my.
yeah. You asked me, what's the age you're asking about? 10 to
But around 10 to
4,
15, just
10 to 15. Yeah, right. So if it's 15 years old, sometimes we have to stay until 5 or 6. So, and some people even stay after dinner. But that's after dinner, that's not like having a class or anything, but
hmm,
you just stay there and try to study a lot more. So like every day since you open your eyes, you have to study if you want
wow.
to be a good student. That was crazy, right?
Yeah,
Whenever
that
I
sounds
thought about
intense.
it, I was, wow, I was so crazy at that time. Yeah.
Okay, so you said people would stay after dinner. Would they eat dinner at school?
Yes, but it's not like 10 years old. It's more like in high school. If it's like 10-year-old, like in the elementary school, you just went home. Nobody will stay in the school. But like when you are 14 or 15 years old, because you have to take the high school exam, so
Mm,
some parents just ask you to stay longer. So yeah, yeah, they will eat dinner at school.
okay. Speaking of food, what was your favorite food when you were a kid?
Oh wow. Hmm. Let me think of.
Or
Whoa.
maybe you can't choose between.
It's like yeah, it's like too many. Well, oh, I think I really love like steamed egg.
Mm,
This sounds weird, but like it's like steamed egg, but it's like I think it's not just egg. It's a egg with a lot of other like ingredients in it,
okay.
like chicken broth or whatever. So yeah, I really love steamed egg, and wow, some of them like I don't know how to say it in English. Um,
No worries.
yeah, it's so hard, but there are so many good stuff there.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
And would you cook that yourself normally or?
yeah, I can make the steamed egg myself, and I that's interesting. Like I did so much research for the recipe,
Yeah.
so I'm really good at it now.
Okay. You perfected it now.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Good.
right.
Um, so what kind of conversations did you have at the dinner table?
Well, usually we watch TV when we're having dinner, and the time usually they would have some news. It's like the news time over there, so we just talk about the news, whatever happened there, or yeah, things happened recently,
Hmm.
um, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Okay. Did you
Oh,
only watch?
uh-huh.
Sorry,
I
continue.
just want to say there's so many nonsense in our news. So
Oh, really?
yeah, and my dad would be really angry when he heard of that, and he would criticize it. I think I learned a lot from him at the time at the dinner table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you only watch the news or did you watch different TV shows growing up too?
Oh wow, I watched so many TV shows when I grew up.
Really?
So yeah,
Like
there are all kinds
cartoons.
of weird stuff. Yeah, cartoons
Okay.
and variety shows. I love that. Yeah, all kinds of things. I watch everything. Yeah.
Okay. Was that something that you would do with friends or?
Yeah, I would do it with my friends too. I remember my friends came to my house and we just watched TV together.
Mm,
Yeah, I still remember that, the view.
okay.
Yeah.
What other things did you do with your friends?
Oh, I remember when I was a kid, like we live in an apartment, and but we just go downstairs and ride our bicycles, or play. Well, what did we play? Just whatever. Just well, I recall and I feel like we play some weird stuff, like like the like the plant we found on the roadside,
Okay.
or yeah, or whatever we found on the road. Yeah, the funny thing,
Yeah,
and
just
let's just chase
creative.
each other.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Do you keep in contact with any of your friends from your childhood?
Yeah, I still keep in contact with some of them.
Okay.
Yeah, I do. Not everyone, but yeah, still got to get some contacts with them. Yeah.
Okay. Do you ever reminisce about old times?
Uh, do I have what? Excuse me?
Do you ever reminisce about old times? Like think about the fun times you had when you were a kid?
Yeah, I thought, yeah, especially when I saw my own kids, I will think of those times and
Okay.
compare it. Yeah, it's interesting.
Okay. Uh, Obviously there's a lot of memories I'm sure that you have as a kid, but if you had to pick maybe one of your favorites, what would it be?
Oh, like the best time.
Yeah.
Um, well, it's so hard. Let me think about it.
Yeah.
Um,
Take your time.
yeah. Yeah, I would say the best time is always I play with my cousins. Yeah, I think that's almost like the best time I have. I was really close with them when I was a kid, so yeah. And oh, because my one of my most of my cousins they are older than me, so I was almost like the youngest one there.
Hmm.
So and they were nice to me, so it's like good time there. Yeah.
Did they live close by?
Oh, not really close by, but oh, actually they live in the city I was born. They
Okay.
were, yeah, but it's not really far away, so they would visit all the time, like every week or something. So yeah, or we go there a lot too. So yeah.
That's cool.
hmm
And are they all still in Taiwan?
Yeah, most of them are in Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still there. Yeah.
Do you have any family that lives in the States?
My sister, she's living in the States now.
Okay, cool. All right. Was there anything else like specifically that you wanted to talk about? Maybe any other
Um,
memories that were brought up that we didn't
um,
address?
I believe there's a lot. Just, mm, yeah, like let me think about it. Yeah, I would, wow, it's a lot of best stuff in the school. Like the thing I love to talk with people is like my teachers in my
Mm,
elementary school. And I mean, I met some good teachers there, but um, we do have some really bad teachers there. Like it's horrible.
mm.
Um, yeah, like
Bad, just like
that's why.
they're not good at
Mhm.
teaching, or
I think if they are bad at teaching, I can forgive them. But it's like they um just has no moral. That's what I said. Like, no, I didn't learn it from the school because they are the bad examples. Like
mm,
my school teacher, I think when I was 11 or 12 years old, he was a really bad one. He tried to make money. Like he had a like after school, like, like extra, how do you say that? Like the, like a, um, after, how do you call that thing? Like a tutor school
Okay,
or
yeah.
something?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a tutor.
And yeah. And he was not supposed to do that. It's illegal in Taiwan because
Mm.
a teacher should not have that kind of stuff after, like, like a private tutor
Uh-huh.
school. So, but he did that. And then he tried to make his students go there so he can make more money. So he was like punishing us if we don't get good grades. And we were
Mhm.
only like 11 or 12 years old. We don't even have to take the exams I talked about. So there's no purpose to do that. Like, but he, of course, like most of the parents in Taiwan, they really care about grades. So they would not be against it.
Mm.
So a lot of them just, oh, it's my bad, my kids just couldn't do that, and they would just, oh, it's my fault, and they just send their kids there and pay our teacher the money. And yeah, he was just do all kinds of like bad stuff, like bad things to force his students to go to his, the tutoring service or something. I don't know how to call it. Yeah, and I didn't go, and so I got punished. So that's really annoying. So yeah, that's what he did to us. And after that, well, I think I don't even know how to describe it in English, but he just got some financial issues after I graduated from the school, and then he just ran away to
Wow.
China. He just disappeared.
That's pretty
So
crazy.
yeah, that's so crazy. Like, and I mean, I still talk about it with my friends, and we're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah, wonder where he is now.
Yeah, and he even have some like, um, oh, like, how should I say it? Like, he still, like, we have some like the final exams in the school, and he was trying to get better grades for his students. So, like, there's a printing room in our school, and he was trying to um, like get the exams
Uh-huh.
beforehand. So he had sex with the lady in the printing room.
No way.
Yeah, he did.
Wow.
So it's like so so bad to be an elementary school teacher. Yeah,
Yeah, that's awful.
yeah, that's an awful memory in my childhood. Yeah.
Dang. Did that kind of make you, would you say, dislike the school system at all?
Yeah, I'm sure that's a part of it. I was like, wow, the school system was yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just
So,
yeah, and so that's why I was like, I never trust like every teacher I met unless I mean, through my own observation and I found he or she is a good person, I would respect him or she or her. Otherwise, I would not respect the person just because he is my teacher.
yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so that's what I learned from my elementary school.
Okay.
Yeah, but okay, I can still talk about some good teachers.
Okay.
Um, yeah, like the one before him, like there's a lady I met there, and she was really great at art, and she taught my class, and I think yeah, I was really interested in art, so um, and she knew that, and she kind of found my talent, so she gave me lots of projects to do, like decorate the classroom or do some posters, and I learned so much from her, and I got some confidence from all the projects. So yeah, I think she really knows how to do that, and I really appreciate
Oh,
that.
that's
So yeah, yeah, we still got some good teachers there.
okay. Did you spend
Yeah.
a lot of time doing like art and projects when you were a kid?
Oh wow, that's another thing. I wish I could. But like what I told you, in our education system, art doesn't count that much
Mm.
unless you are going into an art school that counts. But obvious, my parents they didn't expect me to go there. So I kind of I held myself back. I didn't spend that much time over there. And yeah, that's bad. And because I feel like if I have some more chance to do that, I would have a totally different path right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like in the old time, I think it changed a lot through these years, but in the old time, like if you do art to be an artist and your parents would ask you, oh, can you get a real job? And I knew that since I was a child. So I knew I couldn't do that. So I didn't spend a lot of time on that.
Okay.
Hmm.
Were there any other things that you were interested that you wish you maybe could have pursued more?
Um, um, Other things like writing, I think,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I'm more like I tend to be more like, I love doing some creative jobs, but in my old days, it's not the thing you should do in Taiwan. They don't encourage you to be creative. Um, but unfortunately, I'm not that type of rigid person, so that's the bad thing. That's a bad thing for me. I think when I recall it right now in this age, and I feel like if I can have more chance to do that, I would do much better than I'm doing right now. Of course, I can still write right now, but not like professional writing.
Hmm.
So if if I know the career path, like to be a writer or something, or writing as a job, then I would do much better right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Was that frustrating for you that you couldn't
It
pursue
is very
that?
frustrating. It is very frustrating. I think it actually affects me a lot in my life. Like, I was always thinking, oh, what if I could do that?
Mm.
Or what if? But I know it's useless thinking, like, but it's kind of like learning it, like, um, through my experience, and I know where my real talent is. I mean, I can still, like, my parents asked me to be a good student academically. I can do that, but I found that's not really my passion. So, in that kind of education system, I think there are lots of students like me. They could not do things they really love.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It's a shame.
Yeah, that's a shame. I hope they can. I think the younger generation is much better than my generation right now, and I
Hmm.
hope they can improve it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Um, well, last question I got for you.
Mhm.
Pretty deep one.
Mhm.
If you could tell your 10-year-old self one thing, what would it be?
Mhm. Oh, that's a good question. Oh, you remind me lots of things. When I was 10 years old, um, I would say just be yourself.
Mm.
Yeah, because when I was a kid, I think most of girls are like that. We really care about our friends and how other people talk about us. And I care really a lot about that.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, and just, I think my personality was like, I don't like to do things most people love to do. So, yeah. So I was so afraid that they would think I'm a weird person.
Mm.
So I was afraid to pursue things I love, like art or whatever things I talked about. So, but that's the real me.
Yeah.
So, when if I and my parents, like my mom, she's more like a conservative person, so she didn't encourage me to be a special person. So, yeah. So if I can talk to a 10-year-old, talk to myself when I was 10 years old, I would say just be yourself. Just do whatever you like.
Yeah,
As long as it's not a bad thing, just do it.
that's awesome. I think that's really
Yeah.
cool. I remember feeling like that when I was a kid too, just the pressure to fit in. But
Yeah, yeah, especially girls, because I have a boy and a girl right now, and I found boys, my boy, or he's, or it's not about gender, I don't know, but he just doesn't care about what other people talk about. But girls would just try to fit in all the time with other girls. So yeah, but it's sometimes it's good, like you have a feeling of the group, but you still have to keep the uniqueness of yourself. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's important. And I used to think it's not that important, but now I found it's really important in your life. Um, yeah, I got some good friends there when I was when I was a child, but yeah, it's not about them, it's about me. I was limiting myself, so
Mm.
that's the thing I wish I could know when I was 10 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of ways did you feel like you were able to express your individuality?
um like when people are saying, oh, we love that movie, that is so good, and I
Mm.
don't think so, and usually I just keep quiet and I should just say my opinion. Just
Yeah.
it's just bad. Yeah, and say tell them why it's bad. And I think, yeah, if I think I have better taste, I just tell them. Yeah, I mean, everybody should just have different opinions, right? But I think when I was a kid, I was like, because I told you I was the youngest one in the family,
Hmm.
so I usually just go with the older ones. But of course, I have my own opinion, like when I grew older.
Yeah.
So yeah, I should just allow myself to develop my uniqueness, like my own opinions. And I do have my opinions. So yeah. So I think I just try to express myself better and let people know it. And yeah, I think that's the thing I should do better. Yeah.
Okay.
hmm
That's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, it's about like our culture. I think it's different in Taiwan because when we were in school or in the family, people would ask you to behave and follow instructions.
Hmm.
And I found here, they just more encourage you to be yourself. So I think that's a cultural difference in Taiwan.
Okay.
hmm
Did you feel like that was something that affected a lot of people? Like, do you feel like there was kind of just an overall
Oh,
pressure to fit in a box?
I think it affects actually a lot of people
Mm.
in Taiwan. Because I found like, in Taiwan, if you go to class and you ask the kids like your opinion, what is your opinion? And I actually went into the classroom and asked them some opinion. It was like nobody raised their hand.
Hmm.
Uh, like in the United States, I found students are like, they love to answer questions and they were a lot more confident. They were not afraid to say anything that's wrong.
Yeah.
It's just much better. Yeah, and like in Taiwan, people would think like, well, what if I say something wrong?
Mm.
It's like not even one student will raise their hand. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that makes
So
sense.
yeah, and it's about our history. Like, I told you like in my parents' generation, they were so scared to say anything because a lot of people just say just they didn't do anything actually. They just got arrested and put in the prison for nothing and for years. So
Yeah.
they were so scared. So they were like, oh, just don't say anything. I think that's something will affect our Taiwanese a lot.
Hmm. Would
Hmm.
you say like hearing all those stories and like kind of the structure that it had, did that make you almost like scared to speak out about things when you were younger?
Yeah, I think I did. I was scared. Yeah, because I know, oh wow, you might be so much things again. Like when I was in school and I told you like my parents' political stand was different from the mainstream. So
Hmm.
um like most of teachers in school, they believe in KMT, like the government. Of course, that's why they can be in the school. Most
Yeah.
of the teachers, yeah. So like when I was in elementary school, I think the first teacher I had there, she actually during the election, she actually asked us to because we have like a notebook and we have to write the homework on it every day, and our parents have to sign it. And she just asked us to write like vote for somebody. Just I think it's not legal to do that.
Yeah.
Just yeah, yeah. And she would ask us like to say you should vote to whoever the name and the numbers of that person, and and she would, and so it's very obvious for her political stand. So I was so afraid that she would find out the background of my family.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I got that kind of terror since I was a child,
Hmm.
and I really know when I should not say those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want myself get into trouble because I was not um I would say I was not very brave. I was not that type of person. I don't want to get into trouble.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I just keep silent most of the time.
Okay. Do you
Yeah.
think that that's kind of what's encouraged you to pursue the career that you have now?
Yeah, that's definitely the reason because I don't think we should be suppressed like that.
Hmm.
We should be able to say that. And that's the truth. That's the mistake they made before.
Yeah.
And yeah, and we should be able to talk about it. And we should be, we should have the right to feel the sorrow. And because it's like they don't even allow us to feel sad.
Hmm.
Like whenever we have some like ceremony for in memory of those dead people, like those sufferers, and they would say, "Oh, why do you need those? You should forget it. It's the past." They would say that.
Yeah.
It's like yeah, it's like gaslighters. It's like yeah, like you should not feel sad. But
Mm.
that's my feeling. Why shouldn't I feel sad? Just
Yeah,
so
exactly.
annoying. Yeah.
That's hard.
So yeah, so um of course like the situation is different now. It's much more open um in Taiwan. So it's there's no danger to say those things anymore. So yeah, it's a lot of my childhood is probably about like the political situation of Taiwan. So if you are interested, you can do some research and you will know a lot more about it. Yeah, because
Huh.
it's hard to explain it in a short time. Yeah, I'm sorry
Yeah.
about it.
No, it's
Yeah,
okay. I'll definitely have
yeah,
to look into that.
yeah,
I do,
yeah.
like I
I
said, I
think,
do have really limited knowledge on
oh,
the.
yeah, I totally understand that. Like, I don't understand much about other countries too.
Mhm.
So, yeah, but it would be interesting to know some history of other countries, and then you will know how lucky you are to be in the United States.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a lot of issues in this country, but
Hmm.
um, yeah, and that I mean, when it comes
Comparatively.
to yeah, relatively, like to the
Mhm.
freedom part, like it's so much better over here.
Yeah. Hey, well,
Mhm.
that's the whole point of this class, is to kind of just learn about cultures and nations that we don't know much about, and
Mhm.
it is really
Yeah.
interesting to see like how different it is all around the world.
Yeah, it is very interesting. Oh, the other interesting thing is like, if you interview some other Taiwanese, they would probably tell you a whole totally different story.
Mm. Yeah.
Like it's very diverse. Like, I told you like there are two different groups of people in Taiwan, and one is like me, and the other one is like pro-China. So they would tell you a totally different story. So if you are interested, you can talk to those people, and you
Okay.
will know. Yeah, like two different countries. Yeah.
Interesting.
hmm
All right. Well, is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I think that's about it. I think I have talked too much. So,
Not at all. Not at all. I think it's
yes, and
super
I hope,
interesting.
yeah, I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. No, thank you so much again. I really appreciate
Yeah.
you being willing to spend
No,
some time on a Wednesday night to talk to me.
no, thank you so much to asking me those questions because I didn't have a chance to think of those things for a long time.
Hmm.